I'm going to critique an article that promotes a plant-based diet and is critical of animal agriculture. This article is representative of the prevailing themes that you find in such literature. For one thing, you would never know by reading these articles that promote a plant-based diet, you would never know that there is such a thing as regenerative agriculture. You would think that all agriculture is burdensome, all agriculture is detrimental, and that the difference between plant-based and animal-based is that animal-based is even more detrimental. So the best we can hope for is to scale it back and minimize the impact of such things. So let's look at the article. So the article is called Plant-Based Dietary Patterns for Human and Planetary Health. I have a link in the show notes if you'd like to check it out. So I don't have the whole article, just I copied and pasted certain portions. 2.2 agricultural land use and 2.3 water use. So around 43% of the planet's ice-free terrestrial land mass is occupied by farmland, including croplands and pasture lands. Approximately 83% of this farmland is used to produce meat, eggs, farmed fish, and dairy, yet they only provide 18% and 37% of our calories and protein, respectively. So the idea is that animal-based agriculture is taking up more than its fair share. Next, per kilogram, animal products require more life cycle energy inputs than plant foods. The adoption of plant-based diet would substantially reduce animal agriculture, would substantially reduce agricultural land use. So the best we can hope for is to reduce agricultural land use. Eschel et al. Estimated that Americans could save approximately 34% and 24% of dietary and total land use respectively if they replaced all meat with plant-based alternatives. Considering the amount of land required to produce animal products, it is unsurprising that they are accountable for 67% of the deforestation caused by agriculture. So is the deforestation caused by animal agriculture, is that necessary? You know, if we used animals to restore deserts and desertifying grasslands, then we would have all that much more land available for food production. We could do that, but you would never know that you would never know that livestock can have a positive relationship with the land by reading the advocates of a plant-based diet. Next, the destruction of ecosystems for croplands and pasturelands is the single largest factor causing species to be threatened with extinction. Okay, you would never know by looking at that paragraph that it's possible to have a regenerative farm that restores wildlife. Joel Salatin has all 8 species of bumblebees native to Virginia on his farm. Will Harris in Georgia has more bald eagles than anywhere else in Georgia, according to the State Department of Fish and Wildlife. So farms can restore wildlife habitat. Farms can restore water quality, restore water cycles. Farms can either pollute the water or be good for the water. They can either practice heavy tillage and destroy the soil, or they can restore the soil. Next, biodiversity is essential for the productivity and resilience of our food systems. Yeah, so let's not blame the decline. Let's not have false notions of where the loss of biodiversity is coming from. All ecosystems have animals. if you want a functioning ecosystem, you need a place for animals. We have, eliminated the habitat for megafauna. We have killed off many of the megafauna. Megafauna means big animals. We still have some of the megafauna left. Cattle are among the megafauna that could be on our land, restoring the land. We just need to manage them holistically and rotate, strategically. Next, shifting to plant-based diet would slow biodiversity loss substantially, thus having a protective effect on global food security. So I can, not in this video, but I can show you articles that show how proper management of grazing animals can increase biodiversity. So why are we talking as if, as if animal agriculture categorically, not usually, but categorically, has an adverse effect on biodiversity? It's just not true. Next, it is estimated that animal product-free diets have the potential to reduce diet-related land use by 3.1 billion hectares, 76% reduction, including a 19% reduction in arable land. Okay, again, we're assuming that that agriculture is detrimental and all we can do is reduce it. And we're assuming that, animal agriculture is an even bigger culprit than crops. Next, let's talk about water use. So, in total, 70% of all global freshwater withdrawals are used for the irrigation of crops, of which 24% are fed to livestock. Okay, even by their terms, that would seem to be a proportional amount. But, let's look at California. You have the mining of water. You have withdrawing water from aquifers in a way that's completely unsustainable. You even have a sinking or a subsidence of the land as a result of constantly withdrawing water from the aquifers. You have a drying of the landscape as a result of removing water from the aquifers. That's done for, no doubt, that's done for livestock, but it's also done for rice, for alfalfa, for almonds, for everything else that for most of the things probably that California grows. So the problem is bad management of water cycles. What we could be doing is having more rain-fed agriculture. I know that's not possible in California, like you can't do it immediately, like right away, but we need to move toward rain-fed agriculture, and we need to move toward a restoration of our water cycles. California used to have more beavers. California used to have more forests and oak savannas. Beavers and forests help restore water cycles. We could also capture the water, higher up in the watershed. We could be doing this, and it has little or nothing to do with whether plants or animals are being raised for food. Next, approximately 43,000 liters of water are required to produce 1 kilogram of beef, whereas it only takes 1,000 liters to produce 1 kilogram of grain. Well, the problem is that it takes I know there's a place for irrigation. I'm not being a purist or saying it's all or nothing, but there are people, there are farmers who do most of their farming through rain, and the amount of water that you use is only a problem if it's not part of an ecological water cycle. So, and cattle could be used to restore deserts. Cattle could be used to turn deserts into grasslands. So cattle could be part, and in many places are, part of the solution. Cattle can be used to restore water cycles so what water we're using is sustainable. Because the cattle are not just consuming the water, but they are restoring the ground, restoring the soil so that the soil soaks up more water. And that's what we need to go toward. A modeling study found that reducing animal product consumption would reduce global green and blue water use by 21% and 14% respectively. Well, what are they assuming? What are they assuming? You can bury your conclusions amid a pile of invalid assumptions. PBDs, plant-based diets, may therefore play a role in water conservation. Well, it's not whether it's a plant or whether it's an animal. It's whether it's regenerative, whether it's sustainable, whether it's destroying water cycles, or whether it is restoring water cycles. Animal product-free diets may also improve water quality by reducing eutrophication caused by nitrogenous fertilizer and manure runoff by 49%. Well, nitrogenous fertilizer is used in food production systems that have nothing to do with animals. Nitrogenous fertilizers are used to produce corn ethanol. Nitrogenous fertilizers are used to produce corn in a way that amounts to junk food. So we need to look at what's the end use, what's the, where is this leading? So either plants or animals can be used in a process of restoration. Either plants or animals can be used to grow crops that is heavy tillage. Corn, soy, wheat can all involve heavy tillage, heavy use of glyphosate, heavy erosion, heavy water pollution, or they can be grown in a way as to prevent water pollution, to restore the soil, to deal with weeds in a way that uses little or no herbicides. Anyway, my conclusion is that it's not the cow, it's the how. It's not whether it's a plant or an animal being grown. It is whether that plant or animal is being grown in a way that respects the ecosystem, that restores the ecosystem, and makes some attempt to mimic nature. That's all. If you liked this content, please click like and subscribe. Thank you.